More arrests could be coming for the murder of an Arlington Martin football player who is a young father. Police arrested Devin Holland this morning. They say he's a 20-year-old gang member and he was responsible for Carl Wilson's murder in mid-January. Fox 4's Brandon Todd joining us with all of today's developments live. Brandon?
Yeah, and Steve, after Carl Wilson was killed, we show you that little memorial that was set up. It is still here tonight, and where there was a lot of doubt and fear before, there is now relief that the man police say pulled the trigger is in jail. News of an arrest brought Willona Lightfoot to the scene where 18-year-old Martin High School football standout Carl Wilson was shot to death.
Because this is a young man who was really striving for a better life for him and his son. And to be gunned down in broad daylight, it just doesn't make sense.
This is the man Kennedale police say killed Watson on January 12th, 20-year-old Devin Holland. He was arrested overnight. Investigators say Holland was ID'd as the trigger man by a witness who saw the shooting happen, and by others to whom Holland confessed. According to the arrest warrant affidavit, when detectives talked to an acquaintance of Holland, he told the detective Holland told him he had shot Carl Wilson twice in the head. Wilson's guardian, Lisa Tennyson, who asked that we not show her face, spoke to Fox 4's Sean Rabb about the arrest.
I started crying and thanking God and thanking the detectives.
Police say Wilson went to the car wash that day for a fist fight, and according to the affidavit, about 20 to 30 people were there, including some of the Trill Fam street gang known for their violent acts. The affidavit goes on. The witness stated as Wilson and that other subject crossed the street from the car wash to the apartment complex, the subject with Wilson began stating they were going to fight or he was going to get a thump. Thump being street slang for a gun. The witness stated that when the subject said this, Devin Holland stepped out of the group and shot Carl Wilson. When Wilson fell to the ground, he observed Devin Holland stand over him and shoot him at least 2 more times.
The story that we were able to verify through our evidence that we were able to gather, so we centered in on him as the primary person responsible.
According to the arrest warrant affidavit, when Arlington officers arrested Holland shortly after the murder on outstanding traffic warrants, they found a .40 caliber shell casing in the street and a bag of them in a drainage pipe near the house where Holland was staying. The casing would later be matched to the casing found at the murder scene, but not before Holland bonded out of jail on the traffic warrant charges. Martin High School students devastated by the murder learned about the arrest in school today.
I heard some people talking about it, but no one really knows who the kid was.
But those left behind to care for Wilson's 18-month-old son still struggle each day with a difficult loss.
When he sees pictures of his dad, he'll kiss him. So that's been the hardest part. For me, the hardest part has been accepting the fact that he's gone, that he was taken away.
Of course, one of the biggest questions in this, why was Wilson killed? The affidavit quotes a witness who says Holland told him it was because Wilson was, quote, beefing with their gang. Now, police say, Steve, that evidence goes much beyond what what we talked about in the story there. They said it includes cell phone records, social media feeds, forensic evidence that all point to Holland as the killer. And as you mentioned before, the expectation is that there will likely be more arrests. Steve?
Brandon, walk me through this a little bit. It seems in your stories you explained they were matching up evidence and he was in custody and then he bonded out. Did they know that was happening? Were they keeping an eye on him? I mean, they have him in custody in a safe place relatively where the suspect can't do any more damage and then he's gone. Were they worried about that?
Well, exactly. Now, we mentioned he was arrested on traffic warrants,
right.
Outstanding traffic warrants. So at that point, Kennedale knew they may have a suspect here in this case, but they didn't have enough evidence at that point. And keep in mind, those forensic tests that go to the lab, they take a long time to process. So they didn't have that back either. They just didn't have enough to hold him then at that time. And then Holland was arrested again last week and released. Because at that point, again, they just didn't have everything together, all their ducks in a row to get that warrant to hold him in jail. It wasn't until they finally got that warrant signed last night that they were able to go and pick him up.
All right.
Steve?
They say he's their guy, and they've got him now. So, all right. Brandon Todd, live in Kennedale, thank you.